Well, good morning out there in internet land. Hi, and how are you doing? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Front Porch Brunch, that fun little thing we do on the weekends where we get together and we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try to figure out all the problems in the world, or at least give our solutions for what they think we ought to do, or we think they ought to do. It's Saturday. I can't even talk. That's how excited I am to be here with you guys. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So yes, please share the link around. Tell your friends to come on in. Let's see if we can get ourselves a big old crowd going here this morning. And yes, let us have some fun. I want to have some fun. Wait a minute, wrong song, wrong music. We'll figure it out. You know how it goes. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am sometimes known as the fine fella in the fedora. Sometimes I'm called the beau in the chapeau. Every so often I'm referred to as the common man with common sense, but I am above all else, in this moment in time, your host. Again, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. So please share the link around. Please subscribe to the channel. Please give a thumbs up. Please leave some comments. Do all those wonderful things that you do. You guys are totally the bestest audience on the internet, and I absolutely love you for it. Again, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, we're on YouTube. This is Front Porch Brunch. That wonderful time of the weekend before the football games start, before you got to go out and mow the grass, before you got to run your errands. That moment of the morning where you get together and you say, let's drink a cup of something. Let's see if we can't figure out what's going on. What has been going on? I've been working hard all week long, trying to make a dollar, trying to keep a roof over my head, trying to keep the bills paid, keep the significant other happy, the kids happy, the boss happy. I don't know. Am I going to make it? Yes, you are. If for no other reason, you are here. If you've made it here, then you're going to make it. Okay, this much is of a certainty. Glad to have all of you guys here. Sean from Third Ralph, what do we have here? We have Front Porch Brunch, my friend. We have one of the best times on the weekend you're ever going to have. Legally, might I add. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Sean, good to have you here. By the way, this Tuesday night, we are going to get together with this fine gentleman from the Third Ralphify channel, Mr. Sean, that great Canadian. We're going to have him here. We're going to chat with him, find out what's going up there in the Great North. Whether Canada will survive the ignominious reign of Justin Trudeau, we shall see. So he's going to be here. Then Thursday, we're going to have Chris from the Morning Mayhem channel. I want to get together these content creators. I want to talk to them. I want to meet these guys and hopefully have some fun, hang out with them. Oh, yeah. Now, will you stop it? It will be good on Tuesday night. We want everyone to watch. We want people to find out about your channel. If we can help you grow that thing, brother, hopefully you can. Not that you need my help, but, you get the point. Oh, my goodness. So good to have you guys here. Who else is in the house this morning? Why is no one showing up in my YouTube feed? Why? Hang on a minute, guys. I'm getting nervous here. YouTube is very, very quiet so far this morning. I don't understand that. I'm getting very nervous. Hang on a minute. Got to see what's going on here. They better not have shut down my live stream, dad blame it. Okay, they're saying I'm live. Hang on. Okay, all right. Well, for some strange... Yeah, no, okay, all right, people are there. All right, I panicked for nothing. Well, gee, me panicking. Gee, just imagine that. Good morning, TBA. YouTube is assho. Yes, I'm not saying, my friend, but I'm just saying. So, good morning, Miss Gypsy. Glad to have you here with us. Mwah. Love you, darling. I see WWG1's already dropped in some memes on the other side. I am frightened, genuinely frightened. But you know what? The Lord hates a coward. So we'll take a look at all those here in just a minute. Good to have you guys here on a Saturday morning. I don't know about you guys, but where I am, I had to turn the furnace on last night. Now, keep in mind, Um, I am the reincarnated son of a camel trader from sub-Saharan Africa, so I hate cold weather. If it drops below 70 degrees, I start reaching for the burkas and the heavy Arctic gear and all that stuff. So, yeah, but I had to break out. I had to start the furnace last night. Uh, really, I did. WWG was your delicate constitution. Well, I don't know that I'd call it a delicate constitution. I just don't like cold weather. I mean, now for those of y'all out there that are more hearty than I am, and you enjoy the wind on your face and uh the idea of being out there with the Siberian Huskies as you lead a team, all that good stuff, you know, good for you. Me, I like my 70 plus degree weather if I can at all obtain it. So there you go. TBA says, do you own Eskimo coats? No, I do not own Eskimo coats, but I do believe in staying warm. I do believe in staying warm. So, yes, very much so, in fact. Very much so. All right, good to have you guys here this morning. And got a few things lined up for you guys. Not a big string of tabs on the other screen, but enough I think we've got a good conversation to get started with. And as is our wont, we will start with the Merry Memes section of the show. And did you guys hear about Elon Musk's rolling out of his new? You can't really call it. You can't call it AI, but actual robots. I mean, literally. I mean, these things look like something out of like not quite Battlestar Galactica quality here, or that movie that Will Smith was in, I, Robot. But daggone it, they don't look close. And this rollout has brought with it a certain amount of controversy. And that is, do these machines now possess artificial intelligence? Well, we may have an answer to that question, but I'm pretty sure that the answer to this is something that the Democrats are not quite ready for because, when the robots are walking around giving you this message, I'm not sure the Democrats are looking forward to this future. I just, I could be wrong about this, but like I say, when the robots walk into the demonstration and they're carrying one of these babies, well, somewhere in the deep recesses of the Democrat Party, they're looking around going, oh, yeah, my God, this is the future we look forward to. Oh, jeez. Anyway. So, yeah, even the robots get it. So there you go. All right, I gotta mix in one of these WWG ones. Let's see what this grand wing nut has provided. Hang on just a second. Let's see what he's done here. I am scared, but okay. He's got one that Gypsy also provided, so we will wait for that one. Let me take a look at this other one here. WWG1, you and Gypsy are right on the same page, brother. Right on the same page. All right, let's see what this one is. Oh, okay, this is cute. Yeah, the National Weather Service and the National, is it NOAA? NOAA? NOAA, I think is what it's called. They are actually considering reclassifying how we categorize hurricanes. I guess in light of the more recent, things going on with Helena and Milton, they're trying to figure out a simpler and easier way for people to understand what strength a category may possess. Well, in all things being equal, I think they have found a very unique way to do it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you saw this for an explanation of what a strength of a hurricane would be, would this help you guys better understand what's going on out there? I ask you, just saying. I'll tell you what, that Category 5 hurricane, man, if I see those falling out of the sky, I know it is end times. Just saying. That's not looking good, my friends. That's not looking good at all. I mean, look at old Category 3 over here. Whoo, that's some bad news. My goodness. Mercy me. That's definitely not good at all. Mercy. All right. Thank you, WWG1. And I got one more of his I'll put up there in just a second. Yeah, the stuff you find on a Saturday morning. Oh, let's see. What else have we got here? Yes. You know, unfortunately, voters tend to get the shaft in a lot of elections in this respect. They tend to be promised some things and then they wind up realizing later on the reality does not at all live up to the promise. And a lot of people have made this complaint about the Democrat Party. I mean, let us be frank about it. Democrats will promise you the moon, the stars, and then they deliver you the dirt. Well, I think someone has finally figured out a way how to sum up exactly what is the difference between Democrat expectations and Democrat realities. I don't know, guys. I think that one pretty well. That one pretty well sums up exactly, what they promise and what you wind up getting. Wow. Wow. It's just really amazing. That is truly, truly amazing. Yep. The promise definitely does. The reality definitely does not live up to the promise. I'm just saying. I hope none of you had breakfast before you saw that one. So there you go. Oh, goodness me indeed. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see what else is going on here. All right, WWG1 had one more, and again, I'm still very nervous as I open this thing up. But I know WWG1 is a viewer of discerning taste. Would never send me something that would be like, oh yes. We got this one. We got this one too. So yes, we will be playing that one here in just a minute. Okay. All righty then. I tell you what, you guys are really on it this morning. Okay. WWG1. That's why I always eat breakfast after the show for that very reason. See, WWG1. Not only do you have a great sense of humor, you're a very smart consumer of internet content. I give you credit, sir. I give you credit. So there you go. All right. What else have we got? Now, another thing that's very interesting and people have started observing when it comes to political campaigns is the almost evangelical fervor that partisans engage in at this time of the year. And it's not unusual to see people going around, dropping off flyers, putting out yard signs, or knocking on doors to hand out leaflets. However, this year, I think the Democrats' efforts, may be backfiring on them. And I don't know, guys, if you saw these two roll up to your door with a copy of Vogue magazine on it, would you really be inclined to vote for their proposed candidate, especially if they knock on the door and give you this opening line? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I just a copy of Vogue magazine and a bag of Doritos, that's not getting it for me. I mean, I'm just saying. Like I say, this is what you might call evangelical political fervor run amok. So, yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, and people wonder why Kamala's having the problems that she does. Well, Yes. In these times in which we find ourselves, sometimes you just need to refer back to old school wisdom to kind of help you avoid the pitfalls that potentially could happen to you during a political season. I mean, for example, take this great piece of wisdom that's been given over the years. 'Tis better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to put a Harris sign in your yard and remove all doubt. Folks, if only we adhered to this kind of wisdom all the time, can you imagine all the troubles that we would avoid in our lives? I'm just saying. So I got to thank Gypsy and WWG1 for putting that one in there. So do appreciate it. We do appreciate it indeed. All right, what else have we got here? Ah, yes. Now this one's a little blurry, but I'll go ahead and set this one up for you. I'm sure that you guys remember on October the 7th that politicians everywhere were trying to find ways of commemorating what happened to the Israeli people with the attack from Hamas. And Kamala Harris and her husband Doug Emhoff planted a memory tree. But someone made a very interesting observation about their efforts. And, let's be honest, shovels are hard when you're used to using a hoe. I mean, they're not wrong, really. Mm. Yep, shovels are very hard to deal with, especially when you're used to using a hoe. There you go. And again, a shout out to Gypsy for that one. And here's the latest cover of Vogue magazine. I don't know. Kamala has been trying to do a lot these days to, upgrade her appearance, but maybe she's taking it just a little bit too far. Just saying. I don't know. I mean, and look, bless their hearts, ladies do all kinds of things these days to try to enhance their appearance because, right or wrong, it's the age in which we find ourselves. I almost feel sorry for you ladies out there. I truly do. But like I say, I'm not so sure that Kamala is taking the best tack. If this is her idea of image enhancement, I don't know, man. That's kind of pushing it. That's really kind of pushing it. So we shall see. We shall see. Okay, I have a question on the YouTube side. If somebody's over there, could they do me a favor and drop a comment in chat? I just want to make sure chat's still working right this morning because outside of normally, and folks are rolling into they're rolling into YouTube, but I'm getting a little worried over here. It's been like almost 20 minutes since the live stream started, and outside of Gypsy's first comment here, I haven't seen anything else. So, and I'm not trying to make people do anything they don't want to do, but if somebody feels like it, drop a comment in chat on the YouTube side because I'm getting a little worried here. I'm starting to wonder if something's not gone wrong with YouTube or something. So we'll see. All right, we'll see. So thank you, Gypsy, for those. I genuinely do appreciate it. All right, what else have we got here? Ah, yes. Yes. For those of you who are trying to figure out a way how to explain to your friends that really there's no difference between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as far as policy, as far as much of anything else, I found a meme earlier this week that really sums this up well. Okay. And if you haven't seen it yet, I will drop this in chat, but this one's great. This one is just great. Copy, paste. I mean, it doesn't really get that much more self-explanatory than that. So, like I say, if you've got friends that are trying to understand, well, I don't understand what the big deal is. They're two different Democrats. Why should I not vote for Kamala? Well, you take Joe Biden's policies, you paste them into Kamala Harris's campaign, and guess what? That's exactly what you've got. So, there you go, my friends. There you go. All right, let's see what else we got going on this morning. Ah, yes. Donald Trump has made a lot of claims about himself over the passage of time. And some of them have proven true. Some of them didn't pan out quite so well. But, the funny thing about it is the election hasn't even happened yet, and he is already having positive effects on the economy. I don't know if you guys have heard this yet, but man, Trump is absolutely doing things that people never even expected. I mean, for example, man, he hasn't even gotten the presidency back yet, and he's already creating jobs. Who knew? Who knew? Thank you, Sean. I saw your comment over on the Rumble side. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I know there are people over there on the YouTube side that are watching, but I just, if they, put it this way, if they are commenting, I'm not seeing them. So maybe I better do this another way. Hang on a second, folks. Hang on just a second. Maybe YouTube's having trouble this morning or something. I don't know. This is a little weird because I've never had this happen on a YouTube live stream. I've had all kinds of things happen on a YouTube live stream, but I've never had this. At least not that I can remember anyway. Oh, good. I don't know what's... Okay, now, okay. Yeah, people are commenting it's not coming through StreamYard. That's weird. That is weird. Okay, let me try that. Well, I'll tell you what. Hold tight, guys. Don't go anywhere. And I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Oh, I know that Gypsy. That's what I'm saying. I can see that. I just can't see you guys. I don't know what the heck is going on over there. Give me a second here, guys. Give me a second. This is just weird. Okay, there you guys are. Holy cow. All right. Woo! Goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay, now okay, first of all, can you guys hear me? Let's just give me a sound check here, guys. My goodness. I am so sorry about that. I don't know what the heck happened. That was just weird. All right. Give me a sound check. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Yeah, it's definitely a glitch in the censorship matrix. Good morning, Duke. Good to have you here with us. You may be a first timer, or if it's been a little while, I don't know which, but glad to hear you. Okay, all right. We can hear you on YouTube. Groovy. All right. Okay, good. Jeez. Sorry about that, guys. I was starting to freak out for there. It's like, what the hell is that even? I don't know. All right. Okay, let me get myself readjusted here, so to speak, and I'll catch up with the YouTube chat, or at least I'll try to anyway. Yeah. StreamYards, don't do that to me. I'm getting too old for that sort of thing. Have mercy. Oh, I do not need that kind of fear in my life. Thank you very much. And okay, speakers. All right, we're good there. All right. Okay, y'all on Rumble, give me a second here. I got to catch up with my people. Good morning, Mr. Duke. Let's see who else is here. Just finished my breakfast in brunch fashion. It was sloppy joes and hash browns. You cannot go wrong there, Robert Lowry. Glad to have you in the house this morning. Let's see who else be here. Stop thinking and donate your brain to Kamala. No, thank you. I like my brain very much, and it works very well. Good morning, Ruben. Glad to have you in the house this morning, as always. Looks like a 60s rocker poster for an... Oh, okay. Okay. This is how you decide to chat. That's the chat. Thanks, Sean. Oh, God. Oh, Lord have mercy. Wrong in so many different ways. Okay, I think I'm about caught up now. All right, cool. All right. Moo, as the Herfer said to the Charlet, moving along. All right. Now, and I've got to thank Gypsy and WWG1 for this next one. We are always finding here on the electronic front porch different toys, different gimmicks that are being done in a political season. And somebody has come up with a really cool way to make money off Kamala Harris. No, it's not her pimp. Have you guys, and by the way, if you're looking for a Christmas gift for your kids, we've got an idea. And then let it be said that we here on the electronic front porch do not try our best to help you out when it comes to all things, be it catching up on the news or giving you ideas for the upcoming holiday season. With that, here is something you may well consider for the kids. Check this out.
Who needs personality when you can switch who you are at the push of a button? Swish, Kamala, that's right. Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, innit?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm gonna be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Bonjour, tu aimes les croissants?
Merde américaine.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst? Ufta, 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 da.
Luke, I am your mother.
It's Sid, Swish, Kamala, that's right.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. Let Accent Switch Kamala turn your life into a complete circus.
When you give me more money, like Uncle Joey did.
Don't you wear a little mad? The money's coming.
I don't understand.
Oh, excuse me, honey.
I meant to say, the money is coming. I love ice cream, Kamala map.
It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
You know, my grandma always used to say, Kamala, Jano, please wash your hands so we can eat our chicken masala. It's Sid, Swish, Kamala.
I don't know, guys. The marketing campaign might need a little bit of work, just a little bit. Anyway, so you know what? If you have friends that like a good chuckle, I will share that one. I know that WWG1 dropped it on the Rumble side, but in case you didn't have a chance to catch his link, here it is on both sides. And again, I gotta thank Gypsy and I gotta thank WWG1 for that one. That is just pricelessly funny. Oh, goodness. And we have one more. You know, folks, if you're trying to figure out how to express to your friends either boredom or dissatisfaction, sometimes you just don't need to use words. To be perfectly honest, you can do it with a facial expression. And I don't know about you guys, but I am pretty sure that this gentleman right here nails it. That is the perfect nonverbal expression of I am not impressed. I'm just saying. So, you know, there you go. And I mean, look at that. The eyes, the forlorn look. The whole thing works in a total package. It just all works together. So there you go. Now, I end the Merry Memes section of the show with that picture to kind of set up our first topic of the morning. And that is Kamala's appearance on Univision the other night. Now, for those of you who may not have seen it, she appeared on or how do they pronounce it in Spanish? Univision? Or no, that's French. Anyway, I'm just going to do it the old gringo way. She appeared on Univision at an audience in Nevada at the campus of University UNLV. Okay. All right, fine. Interesting factoid about that. Half of the audience was flown in and the other half of the audience was hired. And by the way, that's not my saying that. That is a reporter who covered the event. He was able to do some digging. If you don't believe me, go out and check out Glenn Greenwald's latest episode. I think he had Mike, the reporter was named Mike Tracy, who actually dug that fact out. So she imported half of the audience and she hired the other half. This was not a town hall of, unaffiliated independent Hispanic voters, contrary to what she was touting it as. And I've got a few clips from this thing, and one of them is now infamous all over the internet. Okay. Which we'll get to the most infamous one at the end of it. But needless to say, this thing did not go well for her, as most of her media appearances right now are not going well. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like she's coming out of every one of them crying and reaching for the bottle of Xanax and the bottle of wine. Well, okay, maybe she is. But you get my point. But when I say they're not going well for her, what I'm getting at is they're not having the net positive effect that she needs them to have, because either she's committing a gaffe or she's getting questions from her audience or from the person who's interviewing her that she doesn't want to deal with, doesn't really want to answer, doesn't want to take on. And the more she tries to answer those kind of questions, the worse the situation becomes for her. So with that in mind, I've got 2 or 3 clips from this thing, maybe 4 at the most, where she is not doing well at all. And matter of fact, someone grills her on something she doesn't want to talk about. And for example, this first one I'm going to show you is the same gentleman that we just saw in that picture a moment ago. And he asks her about how it is that she became the nominee and Joe Biden is not anymore. And frankly, he finds this to be just a little bit disturbing. So with that, that'll set it up. And here we go.
Right now, leaning towards Trump, but I haven't made a decision. I'm also concerned about the way I feel President Biden was pushed aside.
Oh, well, translation. Oh, crap. Here it comes. I don't want to answer this, but I got to deal with it. What am I going to do? Yada, yada, yada. Oh, there you go. So with that, here now the gentleman is a speaker of pure Spanish, does not speak any English. So the moderator is translating his comments out of Spanish into English.
And so close to the elections, I believe these are extraordinary circumstances.
Now, it's fun. It's almost ironic. Nobody in the press asks her that question, but the voters are. And by the way, I don't think that is totally out of the mind of the voters right now. I mean, let me just, before I go on to just play a little bit of her answer. And this is something that I don't think the Trump campaign has hit hard enough or hit well enough, to be perfectly honest. Regardless of what one person may think of Joe Biden, and God knows I don't like him, politically speaking, and frankly, personally, I don't have much use for him. But the man stood for a re-election and got the votes of 14 million voters across this country. Okay? He went through the process. Now, granted, he had all the advantages of incumbency, he had all of everything else, but he stood to face the voters. This woman has never, now think about this for a second. If she winds up going on to become president of the United States, God forbid, if she does, she will have done so having never earned a single solitary vote in a Democratic primary, a caucus, a state convention, anything. Now, in one sense, to the Democrat Party, that doesn't matter. They don't care. This is nothing more. Elections aren't really elections anymore to them. It's about the retention of power. That's the end goal here. Okay? They want to know that they can retain power above all else. Okay? Above all else. And they just flat out do not care. They want to retain power. So, like I say, in one sense, it doesn't matter to the Democrats whether she never faces a primary voter or not. So long as she can do the job, get us past this election, make sure we retain power, keep on, imposing our agenda, we don't care. But for the first time in American political history, someone may make it to the presidency and never have faced the fire of standing before the voters prior to a general election. That is extraordinary to me. Absolutely extraordinary. But anyway, I'll play you a little bit of her answer to this question. And with that, here we... Yeah, you didn't earn anything, my dear. You were given it. You made about maybe 150 phone calls over the space of 3 or 4 days, and you got Joe's delegates to vote for you. You earned nothing. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I am still having trouble through StreamYard seeing y'all's comments on YouTube, and I know you guys are talking. So I'm just going to have to kind of like bounce back and forth, so I do apologize. Because normally it would just pull right up for me. But anyway, yeah, I can see what y'all are saying over there. Adjust your hat for a clear reception, says Seabass. Well, I don't know, but I'll try that. Try that, brother. Oh, yeah. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I love. How do you explain stealing the nomination, Cammie? Yeah, that's a great one. That is an absolutely great one. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff she went through that night. And it gets worse. It genuinely gets worse. Okay. Here's a gentleman who asks her a pretty good question with regard to the response of the federal government to the hurricane or hurricanes that have come through. And TBA says, how can she speak so coherently? Was a teleprompter? Hold that thought, my friend. Hold that thought. So she's asked about the response to the hurricane. Here's a question and an answer. Amazing to me. It is amazing to me that when you point out what is not happening versus what you're being told is happening, that's somehow misinformation. Now, look, are there individuals who are probably trying to grift off of this tragedy in the Carolinas and Georgia and Tennessee and Virginia and Florida? Yeah, probably. Are there people out there saying comments aren't true? Probably and possibly. But when that many people are telling you with eyewitness account, this is happening, this is not happening, I just love how the federal government defends their inaction by saying, oh, well, that's just disinformation. You're not getting the whole story. Now, honey, are you going to believe what I tell you or what you see with your lying eyes? It's just unbelievable. Yeah, stop believing what you see with your lying eyes, says TBA over on Rumble. WWG1 says, thank you for the question. How dare you put me on the spot? Bingo. Yeah, it's just amazing to me. Just amazing. Now, this next one, oh, man. I'm telling you guys, she got grilled good in this whole process. So I've got a gentleman here named Francisco Medina, and you'll see this when I pull up the clip. He's a Navy software developer, lives in San Diego. He's born in Mexico. He's about 44 years old. Okay, that's the background. Now, listen to what he says, and more to the point, what he asks.
Good medical insurance.
And supposedly we have very good healthcare.
Los tiempos para ver a un especialista.
But the times that we have to wait to see a specialist are sincerely ridiculous.
Después, finalmente, después de 2 años.
Finally, after 2 years of waiting.
He asks a straightforward question. What are you going to do to improve the quality of healthcare in America? Now, whether that's a fair question to ask of any president or not, let's lay that to the side. That's his question. What is their first go-to default position? I was born into a middle-class family. Oh, my God, with this woman. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just incredible to me. She is so empty-headed. So empty-headed altogether. Hang on a minute, guys. I'm going to try this one more time and reload. Okay, we're back again. Yeah, the same answer for every question. Just unbelievable with this lady. I was born into a middle-class family. Oh, my God. It is. It's just, yeah, Ruben, you're absolutely right, brother. A multi-million-dollar home, so middle-class. Yeah. Doesn't have, yeah, you're right. You guys are absolutely right. Absolutely right. No, WWG1, if she starts breaking out into Coal Miner's Daughter by Loretta Lynn, the end times will have arrived. The end times will have absolutely arrived. Now, here's a clip. Ooh, this one does not go well for her because I'll just let it speak for itself, folks. Check this. Oh, did you catch that? Did you catch that? Oh, man. Do not tell me that last 4 words did not when she heard that. Kamala's got no answer for that one. She can stand there and look as sympathetic as she wants to. She's got no answer. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. All right, now here's one. And then we'll get to the coup de grace of this event. Okay. And I'm not quite sure how to interpret this one, and I need your guys' help. And you guys probably saw this one on Benny Johnson, but it does bear some discussion. I want you to look at Kamala and then look at the lady, not who's asking the question, but the one over her shoulder. There's an African-American lady, and I want you to pay attention to this. Now, let me show you the picture. And like I said, you guys have probably seen this. It's not so much Kamala I want you to pay attention to. Watch this lady back here, and I want to get your guys' reaction to this, okay? So with that, it's a 20-second clip. Here we go.
That unlike my opponent, who got handed $400 million on a silver tray and
now watch her roll her eyes, okay? Okay, I want to ask you guys a question. And just be perfectly, tell me exactly what you think here, all right? Is this an issue that lady is just disgusted with the answer? Or she's heard it so many times that she knows what Kamala's going to say? I'm serious. I'm serious about this. Okay? I mean, is she going to vote for Kamala come the fall, no matter what? Or is she kind of rolling her eyes going, oh, God, here it comes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I get the feeling she's just kind of like, is this all you've got? Really, I've heard you say this answer before. WWG1's like, she didn't get paid enough to attend is what she's thinking. Well, you might be right, my friend. You might be right. Gypsy says she either has been to every Kamala event and knows the answers, or she wrote down the answer. Could be. Could be. Could very well be. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. All right, one last clip. And this is the one that I won't say everybody, a lot of people have seen. And as this one circulates around in social media, it's just, I said the other day when we got together on Thursday, I said, Kamala has the worst problem that any politician could have right now. She's damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. She has to speak to the voters. She has to stop this slide in the polls that's coming toward Donald Trump. She's got to slow the momentum. In order for her to do that, she's got to get out and talk to the voters, show them why they should like her, why they should like her policies, why they should vote for her. The problem is, the more that she tries to convince people to like her and her policies and vote for her, the less they want to do it. And there's a lot of reasons why people feel that way. Okay? One of them is the accusation, and which by the way, I think is completely legitimate, that she does not, shall we say, she's not the greatest example of political acumen in the world. That she really is an empty suit. That, I mean, use whatever analogy you want, but basically it comes down to she couldn't communicate no matter what. Well, when you see this next clip, you're going to understand what I'm getting at. And you're going to understand the frustration that voters have with her. Regardless of whether they're going to vote for her, not vote for her, maybe they're on the fence. They're looking at her and they're weighing her in the balances and they're saying, I don't know, man. There's just something about you I can't quite figure out. It's this one is the perfect example of the why. Now remember the context of this event. This is supposed to be a town hall setting where she is in front of uncommitted, undecided Hispanic voters in Nevada. Okay? She's supposed to be speaking extemporaneously. But we know from reporting that half of that audience was imported in and the other half was paid for. So she's got a friendly audience going in. Watch this, and you'll begin to understand why everybody is just absolutely bent out of shape. Watch this.
Victim of crime. Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat?
Okay, now, so they go to the camera behind her. Okay? Now watch this.
The only question I ever ask is, are
cameras panning around from her stage right over to stage left.
Are you okay? And
what is this right here? That looks like a teleprompter. That looks like a teleprompter. Let's continue.
Sadly, we have seen.
Wait a minute. That's got words on it. That's got words on it.
Over the last 2 weeks since Hurricane.
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa.
Since Hurricane.
They took the words down. She's using a teleprompter. I'm sorry. I don't know what else you can say. She's using a teleprompter. I'll back this up one more time. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. But watch this. Okay. And I know I'm getting almost a little bit Zapruder film here, but all right, so we start back on about the 3-second mark. Okay. Here it is, whatever this thing is. She's speaking. Camera is behind them.
The only question I ever ask is, are you okay? And sadly, we have seen.
Okay. There are words there. There are words there. She's supposedly looking at the audience. Now, camera pans around.
Over the last 2 weeks since.
They took the words down. Folks, they absolutely, whoever was running that teleprompter, somebody got in their ear and said, hey, we can see the teleprompter. Take down the words on it. Okay, now Sean from Third Ralify says, the host of the debate says the teleprompter was for him for his opening monologue. Okay, all right. I could see that as a plausible explanation. Okay. I could maybe see that. That's possible. But on the other hand, I mean, and if that's on Univision, okay, fine. But how far were they into this thing when they realized, oh, by the way, we probably ought to take this thing down? TBA says, did she fumble around for the rest of her quote answer? Don't know. All right, but Sean, I could legitimately. He says the words are in Spanish, so if we somehow zoom in and determine that, we would know for sure. Okay, all right, fair possibility. That is a fair possibility. WG1 says maybe the host was getting the weather report. Oh, come on now. I don't know. Okay. Maybe, but to everybody else, and again, this is one of those moments. It's either an unforced error on her part or an unforced error on the part of Univision. But either way, it looks like crap. It looks like absolute crap. You know, Ruben's like, yeah, she was reading from a teleprompter. Gypsy says okay, hang on. Gypsy's like, the morning after the event, there were 3,000 negative comments about Kamala on the Telemundo video, all of them in Spanish. Ooh. Oh, I heard about that. I did hear about that. Kamala got roasted. Yeah. I mean, this is just awful. Speaking of just awful, so is my StreamYard right now. I'm going to try one more thing here, and I'm going to completely just get out of it. I'm hoping that maybe this gets better. So hang on a second, folks. Don't go anywhere. Talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back. Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, this is just bad. Just bad indeed. Just bad indeed. Ah, okay. All right, we're back in business. Whew, oh, goodness. All right, finally. Honey, everything on the porch is glitchy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this morning. But no, I think we got it fixed now. All right. Sean over there from Third Rallify says, we know what she's like without a teleprompter. She's an absolute unmitigated disaster. Truth, my brother, indeed. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's awful. She's just awful. And speaking of those comments that Gypsy was referring to a moment ago, just to give you an idea, here's the playback speed. Let me see if I can get this thing started here. Yeah, here we go. Oh God, there she goes again, talking about President Trump. How does she sleep at night? What else have we got here? She doesn't care about us or our community. I've never seen an audience look so bored and unimpressed. Did the lady just say, make America great again? The Dems are cooked, stay home Dems. It won't even matter. Lady just casually drops a MAGA. Yeah, Kamala got roasted for this thing. Got absolutely roasted. You know. Good morning, Dave. Good to see you. And I will go ahead and bring this up. Pessimist chat polls are within 1 to 3%. We never discussed the cheating. 81 million votes for Biden, 69 Harris will win. Why do we pretend so much? I'm not, Dave, I say this respectfully, brother. I love you. I'm not pretending. She could win. She could win. I just don't think she's going to. I just don't see her doing it. So, no, I'm not trying to be dismissive of what you're saying, nor am I trying to be Pollyanna pretend about it. I just don't think she's going to win. And I'm not just saying that on blind faith either. There is a lot of evidence out there pointing to the possibility that Trump could win this thing. I mean, voter registration trends in every state are leaning Republican. Early voting in places like Pennsylvania, Virginia, other places are not looking good for the Democrats. They're not getting the kind of numbers that they had. Ballot requests are down all in the major battleground states. So I'm not saying she couldn't win. I just don't think she's going to. I mean, look, they barely squeaked Joe Biden across. And there's one other reason why I don't think she's going to win, and it's one of the problems that she's having with a certain demographic, which we'll get to here in a minute. Oh no, I don't dispute a word of this, my friend. I don't. I just don't happen to agree with you. I mean, I love you. You might be proven right in the end. Don't take this the wrong way. I hope you're not. But I just don't think she's going to win. You got to give people something to vote for, and there's nothing there to vote for. Nothing. Ruben says, I just saw the raw video. She is reading from the teleprompter. Oh, really? Oh, I love you too, man. I love you too. Don't worry. I'm just saying. Paku over on Rumble. Good morning. Come over the border, you can get it all. Maybe hoping for a real answer, but confirming she is a shallow, worthless POS. Oh, brother, you ain't got that right. Yeah. No. Well, no. There's one thing about Biden he could do, she can't. And that is he could appeal to blue-collar Democrats, okay, in various places. I mean, they called him Scranton Joe for a reason, okay? But, okay, so TBA says, Brian, they didn't barely squeak Joe Biden across. They cheated like hell and claimed Biden won. True enough. But when I say they squeaked him by, 40,000 votes across 4 or 5 different states. Just saying. Sean says, so they can absolutely cheat, and you would be silly if you think that they are not working on a plan to do just that. But the polls are so bad that for Kamala that nobody would believe it if she did win. Okay, now that's a fair point. And I agree with you. The Democrats aren't just going to give up. They're going to try and figure out something. But then again, what do? If the ballots aren't being requested at the level that they were in 2020, if you have early voting trends where the Republicans are actually picking up more votes in early voting than they ever have, maybe ever, okay, you've got demographic trends that are fighting against Kamala winning this thing. Where does she go to do it? And this is something else to think about when it came to Biden. He called in a lot of political favors. There ain't no way that he didn't. So yeah, that's Kamala on Univision. Now, in moments like this, I tend to turn to what I call old timers for some perspective on how these races are going. And love him or hate him, Newt Gingrich has seen enough elections to kind of get a feel for how things are going. Now, like I say, I don't agree with Newt Gingrich on everything, but he has been around long enough to see enough of these to know how things are going or what should be happening or what should not be happening. That said, he made an appearance on Mark Halperin's show, and it's a clip that bears listening to. So with that, I give you the following.
My guess is that we're in the early stages of watching her collapse, and that given the objective, larger realities that surround her. One last comment, which I know you wrote me back about today. My hunch as a historian and occasional novelist is that sometime in the last 2 weeks, Joe and Jill looked at each other and thought, wouldn't it be a great legacy if Joe's the only guy ever to beat Trump? And I think the stuff he's done to undermine her in the last 10 days is pretty amazing, and I don't think it's an accident.
Do not discount that, folks. Do not discount that at all. I will never be able to prove it. But I am very sure that Joe, whenever he can do it, is sticking a knife into her every chance he gets. Hang on a second. He is absolutely doing his best to stick a knife into this. Okay? She's got a lot going against her. Now, I think Sean's absolutely right. If she were to win this thing, no one's going to believe it. Because that's how bad the polls are. That's how bad the trends are. That's how bad everything is. If she pulls this out, no one's going to believe it. Nobody. TBA says, I'm waiting for Joe to come out and throw his support to Trump. He'll never do it. But he will put the knife into Kamala. And has been, by the way. Oh, now this is possible because no one knows what'll happen in the voting booth. I'm just saying. Good morning, Adam. Glad to have you here with us. If she wins, we'll probably still. Oh God. Yeah. Okay, there you go. There you go. Anyway, she's got all kinds of problems. Now, I found a piece at the New Republic, and I'm going to read a little bit of this. But before I do, I will go ahead and drop this in chat for your guys' perusal at your own leisure. This is a pretty good piece. You kind of got to wonder, you would think that a person who ran for president 5 years ago, has been a vice president for 4 years, and is now running her second presidential campaign, would learn lessons about what not to do. Well, I've got a piece here from a fellow named Alex Shepard at the New Republic. And like I said, I'm not going to read all of it, but he makes some very good observations. And with that, headline, Kamala Harris is making the same mistakes that she made in 2019. A close look at her failed primary campaign suggests Harris has evolved less than previously assumed. There's still time for her to change, however, but time is running out. And I want to go right to here. It is also significantly evident that Harris is not different politically than she was 5 years ago. During her first presidential campaign, Harris struggled to articulate a larger thesis for her candidacy and largely failed to support with her thin premises with a coherent policy program. She adopted and shed positions seemingly at random. She struggled when speaking to the media. She has since improved in most of those areas. I disagree with that. But weaknesses remain. More than anything else, Harris has benefited from a change in context rather than some self-driven alteration. She is undoubtedly better suited to run a general election campaign than she was a primary. Okay, now here's where I disagree with him. I disagree in this respect. I don't think she's any better suited to run a general election campaign than she was a primary. And we'll get back to the article here in just a second, but let me broaden this out and explain what I'm getting at. There's a reason why you want to go through a grueling primary process. Now, there's a lot of reasons, okay? But there's one in particular, okay, that regardless of the time, the money, and the everything else, okay, a primary process leading into a general election will actually help sharpen you as a candidate, as a public speaker, as someone articulating public policy, as somebody putting out public policies, being able to answer questions in the media, avoid traps in the media, etc. See, he's making the argument that just because of who she is, she's Kamala Harris, if you just plug her into a general election, she'll be fine. No. See, that works from the assumption that the weaknesses are not there to be worked out in the primary, and you can just go and just put them in. Okay? This is where I disagree with this author. He's wrong. She's not better suited to a general election. Okay, because the stuff that you should be able to work out in the primary elections are there. The worst part about it is you have a smaller compressed time frame and it gets exposed and potentially exploited. And you can make an argument that Trump's running a really good campaign. Okay, let's just lay that aside for a second. I'll make a counter argument. Trump's not necessarily running a great campaign as much as he is taking advantage of her mistakes. That's where I think Trump is succeeding. Now, let me back up a second. I do think he's running a good campaign. Okay, I really do. Trump, I mean, whether you like Trump, dislike him, whatever, the guy's out there working his butt off. 2 events a day, 3 events a day in some cases. J.D. Vance is out there traveling the highways and byways. We got a couple of clips of JD here in a few minutes, but you begin to see what I'm getting at. Trump is absolutely working his butt off. And I agree with Sean. He's running a legendary campaign. I mean, win or lose, you cannot say Donald Trump did not lay it all on the line trying to get the presidency back in 2024. Okay? But my point is this. Laying aside the quality of the campaign that Trump is running, which, again, I think is a good one, he is taking advantage of her mistakes. That's why I disagree with Alex Shepard from the New Republic on this. He's saying, Kamala's just better suited to a general election campaign. No, if she can't run a good primary campaign, Alex, she can't run a good general election campaign. And the thing is, in a compressed time frame, which is what you've got from July 21st to now, to November 5th, those mistakes, those flaws, those failings are more pronounced, they're more exposed, they're more amplified, and everybody sees them. Okay? Yeah, exactly. I agree, Adam. I do remember that. But anyway, getting back to this article, there's a couple more paragraphs of this thing I want to read, and I really recommend you guys take a read of this thing. Like I say, you probably, like me, won't agree with Alex Shepard on everything, but yeah, there's some pretty telling stuff in here. Very telling stuff. All right. Couple or three more paragraphs out of this thing. Harris is now more successfully executing the strategy that failed to catch fire in the 2020 Democrat primary, running as a protector of both the middle class and American democracy against a plutocratic, authoritarian opponent. She is also repeating many of the same mistakes. She's overcautious and reluctant to stake out her positions. Her priorities and approach to policy remain murky. Her messaging is often overbroad. As the campaign enters its final stretch, Harris's first failed presidential run is increasingly instructive. She is, in many ways, running the exact same campaign now that she did 5 years ago and hoping for a different result. Now, on that point, I wholeheartedly agree with Alex Shepard. I think he's absolutely right. By and large, if you analyze the kind of campaign she ran in 2019 versus what she's doing right now, 5 years later, there's a lot of similarity. And Shepard goes on in this article to point out some of them. I want to go a little further into this article, then we'll finish this thing off. Give me 1 second here. Okay, yeah, just about. Let me get down to the last couple of paragraphs on this thing. There we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, really? Really? That should be... I'm going to be very interested to see how that one plays out. Anyway, let's get back to this article. We'll polish this thing off. Her lack of specificity, and it says that, but her lack of specificity. Okay, let's try that again. Her lack of specificity has not been helped by her campaign's media message. She is generally adverse to interviews. Without a clear sense of her agenda, there are times when her campaign seems to consist solely on pivots. Here, too, Harris is repeating a mistake from 5 years ago, when voters rejected her campaign for both its lack of vision and detail. With 30 days to go, she has picked up the pace somewhat, appearing on more podcasts and news shows, especially in recent days, when she has done several interviews, most notably with 60 Minutes and The View. But this transition has been largely belated. Her campaign has, by and large, adopted the same press-allergic strategy favored by the Biden re-election campaign. In interviews, Harris is charismatic. Her running mate is appealing and telegenic, but they are too few and far between because her campaign has adopted a do-no-harm approach that also clearly isn't doing much good. All in all, Harris is as maddeningly cautious as ever. There is still a pervasive sense she prioritizes dodging potential controversies over taking action, or, for that matter, staking out a very clear stance. In the presidential debate, for instance, Harris dodged nearly every question that is asked of her to forthrightly define her position. In the vice presidential debate, Tim Walz, once a source of unfettered excitement and enthusiasm, was defanged and restrained. These performances suggest another explanation for her campaign's aversion to doing interviews. She often doesn't have specific answers to questions about, say, about where her specific position on abortion is, or how her economic policies would combine to, say, lower inflation. Although ramping up, her campaign is still oddly low profile. Interviews are rare, as are the rallies. Naturally, it's possible that none of this will matter. One explanation for Harris's reluctance to offer more concrete details about her plans is that her campaign believes she simply doesn't have to, and that is a mistake. That is a major mistake. They do matter, and she does have to provide them. The contrast between Harris and Trump is clear, and her campaign is focused almost solely on making that distinction as clear as possible. Policy rollouts and interviews are inherently risky and, if bungled, would only distract from that message. Given the threat posed by Donald Trump, after all, the details don't really matter. Harris's squeamishness, from this point of view, is an asset as it represents yet another contrast with her dogmatic and extremist opponent. But with Election Day fast approaching, there's a growing sense that she could and should be doing more. I think Alex is being a little bit kind to her here. Anyway, it's a really good article from Alex Shepard at the New Republic. I really, really recommend it to you guys. Really do. TBA says, Harris is charismatic? What kind of bullshit is that? Hey, I didn't write the article, brother. I'm just saying. Sean says, did you see on Twitter there are reports emerging that Tim Walz, a male student, and left teaching because, Sean, I have heard about this. It has been in the ether for a little while. Gypsy was pointing out something to me the other evening, and yeah, let's just see where this thing comes out. I have seen that. I'm not, put this way, I'm not unwilling to comment on it, but I want to see what comes out. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, we definitely need the receipts of that story. Absolutely. For Trump, the Senate, it came miles long. The recovering liberal part of me suspects the puppet masters sabotaging. Oh, I think they absolutely sabotaged Joe. Could be, my friend. Could very well be. So yeah, there's a lot now for Trump. For his part, okay, Gypsy, I will check that out. Okay. All right. We'll check it out. Trump, for his part, yesterday was in Aurora, Colorado. Now, you might sit there and say, Trump's in Colorado. The Donald, you do realize that Colorado has not voted for a Republican in God only knows how long. True that. I agree. But it's where he went, Aurora. And Trump had a rally. Okay, no big surprise there. The reaction he got in blue Colorado was rather surprising. I've got a couple of clips and a story. And now there was one thing that happened that was actually pretty cool. One of the sheriffs in one of the biggest counties in Colorado got up on stage at the Aurora rally to endorse Trump. And we've got a sliver of that. So with that, check this out.
Many years ago, the city and county of Denver announced that we were a sanctuary city for the welcome of illegal immigrants around the world. And therefore, it was incumbent upon the rest of the Denver metro area to deal with that aftermath. Some of these migrants are highly privileged.
I'm sorry about that, folks. I thought the quality on that was going to be a little bit better. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a real good idea, Ruben. I don't know if it's going to be live, but I'll cover it. I'll absolutely cover it. That sounds like fun. That sounds like absolute fun. Oh, it is going to be live? Okay, I'm down. Let's see. What date's the dinner? Remind me of that because I got to look at my calendar. Because I've got Sean coming on Tuesday. I got Tracy coming on Wednesday, and I've got Chris coming on Thursday. Let me think. Today's the 12th. I don't think I can do it. Crap. I don't think I can do it. Because I've got guests the whole... Wait a minute. Let me look at a calendar real fast. Hang on. Dang it. I can't do it. That's the night Chris from Morning Mayhem is going to be here. I can't... Can't do it. Can't do it. I've already got a commitment. Daggone it. Okay. Oh, this should be interesting. Hang on. I got to look at this real quick. What do we got here? Okay, so there's the Alfred E. Smith dinner. Oh, this could be fun. And Robert just sent me something. Sorry about this, folks. I got to look at this real quick. Oh, God. Robert, I know what this is. You're awful, but I love you. We're going to do it. And I've got just the spot in the show. I got just the spot in the show to put that in. So, who is Tracy that's asked? Yes, Gen X marks the spot, and yes, she's very cute. So there you go. She is very cute indeed. And she'll be here Wednesday night. All right, so Trump is in Aurora, Colorado to announce something that you got to give Trump credit for one thing. This guy has a real sense of the theatrical. From justthenews.com, Trump vows to crush Venezuelan gang through Operation Aurora. Trump made the remarks during his visit to Aurora, Colorado, when Tren de Agua seized an apartment complex. Article by Ben Whedon. Former President Donald Trump on Friday vowed to swiftly deport illegal alien gang members from the United States and to crack down on Tren de Agua, a notorious Venezuelan gang that made headlines this year for its seizure of a Colorado apartment complex. Trump's plan, dubbed Operation Aurora, involves invoking the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to speedily remove hostile foreign nationals. Quote, "We still have an Operation Aurora at the federal level to expedite the removal of the savage gangs, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. 1798. This was put there in 1798. That's a long time ago. Right to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. Who would have ever thought that a president or a future president, whatever, have to stand here and say such things?" Trump made the remarks during an Aurora, Colorado, where Tren de Agua seized the apartment complex. Quote, "They got their way in an apartment building. They threatened the tenants at gunpoint. These are people that never saw anything like this. These are people that never experienced criminals and crime. They burst into the building. They held tenants at gunpoint and knife point. 10 minutes later, opened fire on a 25-year-old man outside the building, fatally shooting him. Of the barbaric thugs who have been identified, at least 3 are illegal aliens who were in Border Patrol custody." So there you go. There you go indeed. Now, one other clip. Trump was later on that evening in Nevada, and he had a few things to say about the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, which, by the way, I say keep an eye on Jared Polis. So keep an eye on him, because I don't think, for whatever else may be said about Jared Polis, I think that guy is a contender for the nomination. I could be wrong, but it would not surprise me. So Trump had this to say about the governor of Colorado.
Walk in and tell them, get the hell out of your apartment. They took over complexes, and they have a radical left governor who's petrified. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He's afraid. He's chicken shit, okay? He's afraid.
Yeah, and Donald Trump wonders why Franklin Graham's getting on him all the time by his language. Just saying. No, I am not ignoring WWG1's comments about my future ex-wife, Lauren Boebert. Thank you very much. And Lauren does have my heart. Fortunately for me, she does not have my wallet yet. Not that it would do her any good. There's nothing in it. But there you go. I am not ignoring your comments about my future ex-wife. How dare you, sir? No, please. Oh, no, please, no. Oh, goodness. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so Trump's out there working it. J.D. Vance is out there working it. Did you guys happen to see him the other day in North Carolina? You know, I know some people, and I'm not trying to stir up any bones or anything. I know some people have some disagreements about whether J.D. Vance should have been put on the ticket. But I tell you what, that boy can think fast on his feet. So he's appearing in North Carolina at a town hall question and answer session. And he's got Danica Patrick there with her, another one of my potential future ex-wives, although she's not quite high up on the list yet, but she could get there. So J.D. Vance is on stage, and the following happens. Look at how fast this boy thinks on his feet.
Or the federal government, there's a lot of...
Hold on just a second, man. We okay? Kamala Harris built this platform behind us. That's what happened. We doing okay, ma'am? We good?
You can have my chair if you want.
Go ahead, sir.
Now, if you're wondering what exactly happened there, here, apparently the lady was sitting there and something happened that she started to fall through the seat or whatever. And JD, jumped up, was like, "Are you okay? You all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, we know Kamala built that thing." Anyway, got one more clip. And, Kamala likes to talk about the fact that she has this big, beautiful, diverse coalition of people who are supporting her. I have a question for Democrats out there. How much more diverse does it get than Donald Trump, Robert Kennedy Jr., Nicole Shanahan, Elon Musk, J.D. Vance, and I'm probably forgetting 2 or 3 people I ought to have in there. I mean, how much more diverse do you need? I mean, you can make it. I mean, the memes have been going around ever since it started happening, but you can make an argument that Trump's got the political equivalent of the Avengers assembled. It's crazy, but yet Kamala's the one with the diverse team. Where's the diversity? Where is the diversity? I don't get it. Sean from Third Rallify over on Rumble says Nicole Shanahan is the surprise. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Do these people necessarily agree on everything? Of course not. But they agree on enough that they're like, you know what? I can work with you. And the other says, I can work with you. Let's get together and make this thing happen. Which, like I say, if Trump goes on to win this thing, and by George, he better do it. He better keep his word on this, because if he doesn't, it is the death knell of the Republican Party. But if Donald Trump keeps his word and they actually are able to implement some of this stuff, this could get real interesting real quick. All right. And Kamala just keeps on talking and talking. And I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's happened. All right. Tell you what. Oh, gosh, it's high noon. Let's do a real quick commercial, and then we'll shift gears a little bit. If you've happened on this live stream and you're wondering to yourself, should I watch football or should I watch this guy? Well, you should definitely watch this guy. And the reason for that is, number one, my name is Brian Trippett. Number two, I'm the Front Porch Conservative. Number three, this is Front Porch Brunch, a little weekend gathering that we do on YouTube, on Rumble, and on Twitter, talking about the news, giving our ideas about it, giving our opinions, and otherwise just try to have some fun doing it. Like I say, we usually do this on Saturday mornings at 10:30 a.m., and, if you're looking for a place to come to and you're looking for a family of people to hang out with, well, you know what? We are every so often a slightly dysfunctional family, but we're still a family nonetheless. So, subscribe to my channel on Rumble, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. We'd love to have your membership as part of Fedora Nation. And everything that you do as far as sharing the links and giving the thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. If you're not subscribed already, we'd love to have you here. It would be an absolute pleasure. Okay. Let us shift gears for a little bit and talk about the problem Democrats have with men. Now, this is not necessarily anything new, and this has been talked about almost ad nauseum for quite some time now in different aspects. Hang on one second. Democrats have been talking, well, I should say not Democrats. Political observers, sociologists, everybody else have been talking about this thing for quite a while. Democrats have a dreadful problem when it comes to men. What is it? They don't like them. Now, that seems kind of weird to say. What do you mean you don't like men? Kind of like, they're one half of the two parties necessary to keep the population of the planet going. You know what I'm saying? But Democrats, or maybe it's better to say Democrat women, really don't like men. And it's kind of interesting to watch because that dislike, or you could say out and out hatred, is now coming home to haunt the Democrat Party in a very big way going into this election. I don't know if you guys saw this headline the other day in the New York Times. Black voters drift from Democrats, imperiling Harris's bid, polls show. Vice President Kamala Harris is on track to win a majority of the black vote and has brought back many to her party since taking over for President Biden. Still, a significant gap persists. Now, in their most recent polling, the New York Times ran a poll just recently where, according to their reports, Kamala, and take this for what it's worth, is only getting 78% of the African American vote. Trump is only getting 15%. Now, you look at those numbers and you say to yourself, she's shellacking this guy. She's absolutely pacing the floor with him. What's the problem here? The problem is this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 81% of the African American vote. In 2016, Hillary was getting 85% of the African American vote. Okay? This is a huge problem. Now, you might also sit there and say, but Donald Trump's only getting 15%. What's the big deal? Two things. Okay? Number one, in 2020, in the final vote tallies, statisticians tell us that Trump got 12% of the African American vote nationwide. Okay, again, a very dominant performance by the Democrats. But in only getting 12% of the vote, he barely, almost pulled off winning Georgia. He almost pulled off winning Wisconsin. He almost pulled off winning Pennsylvania. If Donald Trump winds up getting 15% or more of the African American vote in this country, absent some election fornication, it's lights out for Kamala. Remember, Georgia went to Joe Biden by about, 12,000 votes? Can you imagine what happens if Donald Trump picks up an extra 2, 3, 4, 5% of the African American vote in places like Georgia or Pennsylvania or Michigan or other places around the country? This is a big problem. And by the way, it's not just African American men, it's men in general. It doesn't matter whose poll you look at. Donald Trump is consistently beating her with the male vote. Now, where the African American vote is concerned in particular, this has caused a certain amount of angst inside Kamala's campaign, as you might imagine. Therefore, her solution to the problem: bring back the anointed one. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Barack Hussein Obama campaigned on behalf of Kamala Harris in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we've got a couple of different things related to that. Here is, I guess, Obama backstage. Now, I want you to listen to what he says and listen to the way he says it, okay? Do me a favor, check this out, and then let's talk about it.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Now remember, that was 12 years ago or 16 years ago. So we haven't got the same kind of energy in the African American community that we once had. And Sean, I saw your comment. Brother, you're absolutely right. I'll read that here in just a minute.
Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So
the brothers. The brothers. Oh, God.
If you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. TBA says sound is very echoey in that room. Is that on a soundstage? I don't think it is. I don't think. Yeah, this is that, Robert. That's a good way of putting it. This is the version of "You Ain't Black" 2.0. And Sean says he is scolding them almost as if there is no joy left in the campaign. Yeah, he's not encouraging them because of who she is. It's almost like you're black and you've got the obligation to vote for a black candidate. That's all it is. It's not because her ideas are better. It's not because, she's a better candidate in general or she's a better person. In other words, something positive and affirming about Kamala Harris that makes you want to vote for her. No, Barack Obama's being brought out to be like, hey, brothers, they ain't got the energy that we had when I was running for president. And, we got to get Kamala in. So I need you to get out there now and go ahead and vote for her. And African Americans are looking back at the anointed one and going, why? I wholeheartedly agree with this. And here's the other part. Here's the other part that gets me. Let's just assume for a moment that every pollster out there, Siena College on behalf of the New York Times, Rich Barris from Big Data Poll, Robert Cahaley from Trafalgar, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen, Matt Towery from Insider, all the really good quality, Spencer Kimball from Emerson College. Let's assume all these guys are right, and Donald Trump is going to get anywhere from 15 to 20% of the African American vote this year, which I think is very possible. I really do. Okay. what's wrong with that? Now, from our perspective, we say, well, absolutely nothing. Why? Because we believe, look, you have the right to vote for whomever you wish. And frankly, if you choose to vote for Kamala, may not agree with you, but okay, I understand it. But what if African American men, after decades and decades and decades and decades and decades of Democrats promising them, we're going to do this for the African American community, we're going to do this for the African American community, and they don't do it, what if they come to the conclusion, I'm going to vote for Trump? I mean, do they not have the right? Do they not have the right to make that determination for themselves? Or do you Democrats out there believe that these guys are so much on the plantation they can't even so much as set one toe out from it? Well, that's a good point too, Gypsy. I can't disagree with that either. I cannot disagree with that at all. Excuse me a second. I got to put on the peepers and the eyes are starting to hurt. Have no real friends or authentic people. That's a good point too. TBA says, it looks like black men are waking up to having been spoofed for 60 years. LBJ said it in 64. You're not wrong, TBA. I tend to wholeheartedly agree with you. Sean says she didn't do any of those things. She grew up in a fancy neighborhood in Quebec, went to a private school. She's wealthy. She doesn't know anything about the hood. She's Indian, for God's sake. The black community is slowly but surely realizing, again, this is from Sean, that they've been kept on the modern day plantation by Democrats and they are really pissed off about it. I can't disagree with any of that. I mean, and again, I go back to my fundamental question. So what if they vote for Donald Trump? But the Democrats can't have that happen for any number of different reasons. If Donald Trump winds up getting 15 to 20% of the African American vote, what does that say about the future? Well, you guys know my opinion. It is reaching the point demographically that the Democrats, absent a major league screw up from the Republicans, which is altogether possible, they're going to keep losing a share of the African American vote year after year after year after year after year, election after election after election after election after election. The generation that remembers the civil rights movement in the African American community is dying off. The African American vote is up for grabs. And it will continue to be so for the coming years. Okay? And, the fact that you've got to bring out Barack Obama or other African Americans to try to whip that vote back into place is just further proof of the problem that the Democrats have got. As a matter of fact, Gypsy was saying a minute ago that this did not land well with black men. You want some proof of that? TheHill.com, Obama faces backlash over comments toward black men. In an article by Cheyenne Daniels, former President Barack Obama is drawing backlash for recent comments calling on black men to turn out for Vice President Harris in November. The lack of energy is more pronounced with the brothers. You're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president, and you're coming up with other alternatives or reasons for that. No, Mr. President, the reason that the brothers aren't wanting to vote for Kamala Harris is real simple. She's not offering them anything. They are looking at the Democrat nominee and asking the question that they've been asking now for election after election after election. What are you going to do to improve my life? Or the life of African Americans in America in general? And she can't answer the question except with, I was born in a middle-class family. That's not good enough. No, it has nothing to do with the idea of being a woman, which, by the way, this cuts across parties. I would have no problem voting for a woman for president if I could agree with her on certain issues, okay? If I can agree with her on certain issues and we're down together on that, I'll vote for a woman for president in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to vote for a woman for president just because she's a woman. I'm not going to vote for a black woman for president because she's a black woman. I'm not going to vote for an Indian woman for president because she's an Indian woman. This has nothing to do with supposed misogyny, sir. This has to do with the fact she's an empty suit. She offers nothing to anybody. Why should they vote for her? There's no reason for them to. And I got a clip here from CNN. And I tell you what, I give this lady a ton of credit, okay? Former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. Okay, no, she's not the long-lost daughter of Tina Turner. Former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, who's a contributor on CNN, was asked about this, and I tell you what, she gives one of the best responses I've ever heard. You guys have got to hear this. This is great. Check this out.
Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women.
That is, look, I probably do not agree with Nina Turner on much of anything, but I tell you what, she's absolutely right. Look, unless Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture all men about how they ought to be voting for Kamala Harris, then don't be bringing it to the African Americans and saying, "Hey, brothers, you got to be down with the struggle, okay? You got to be down with the struggle, and you got to vote for the black lady." No, they don't. They have to vote in their self-interest. They have to vote in their own self-interest on behalf of themselves, their own families, their own neighborhoods, their own communities, okay? I hate to tell you this, Barack, but the color of her skin is not good enough, okay? It's not. I'm going to, hey, because I see you guys are just absolutely like on fire about that comment. I'm going to drop that in chat on both Rumble and YouTube. Let me put that baby in for you guys. Yeah, share that around. If you got friends of yours or whatever, share that around, because Nina Turner's absolutely right. She's absolutely right about this. Now, I got another clip here, and very rarely do I ever play these guys, but it's not because I dislike them. It's just usually I don't find something that I think is applicable to what we're getting to talk about. The Breakfast Club, okay? I got a clip here. Guy called into the Breakfast Club the other morning and had an exchange with Charlemagne the God. And this was really interesting. And I think this ties into the idea that men, or more particular African-American men, are looking at their political leaders in the Democrat Party, and they're saying, hey, what about us? This clip is amazing. I will play it for you guys. It runs a little long, but it's worth every bit of it. Check it out.
Yo, man, this Tone from Tampa, man.
Tone from Tampa. What's up, brother? How was everything out there?
It's a little like rain right now, heavy wind, but I'm going to just keep it a buck, man. This ain't where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to say, y'all right in the middle of it. The eye's hitting Tampa from what the map shows right now.
Man, bro, my heart, bro, in my ass, bro. I'm scared, man. And then we still recovering from Helene. And it's like, bro, I want to get this off my chest, bro. This government is playing in our faces, man. It don't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. They playing in our faces, bro. You get Ukraine come over here, they get what they want. You get immigrants come over here, they get what they want. And you got people being denied these FEMA applications that you talking about the other day, Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm.
People being denied, bro. But you getting these migrants coming over here, $10,000 food stamps, bro. You goddamn $5,000 cash stipends, man. This shit hurting, bro. We finna get ready to damn near die, bro.
Damn. I feel for you, I totally understand, my brother.
Absolutely.
It don't matter what they is, Democrat, Republican, they all treason, man. They all about money, bro. None of these people care about American people, bro. This hurt, bro. This hurt, bro. People wake up every day just want to live their life, bro. And you got these greedy snakes, man. You got these greedy snakes call themselves government service people, bro. And they don't give a damn, bro. They don't give a damn about the migrants coming over here. They using them too, man. It's right, man.
You're absolutely right, my
Damn,
brother.
I can't wait so much, man.
I mean, to hear what he said he can't wait till God come back. He's absolutely 100% right. Because
now, say what you want to, and that's fine. That's fine. But I'll tell you what, that man that called in to the Breakfast Club is expressing what a lot of people are thinking right now. Why? We're American citizens, okay? Color of the skin doesn't matter. All right? Why are other people getting taken care of better than we are? And now you begin to understand why African American men are absolutely ready to say, look, I may not agree with Donald Trump on everything, but I could vote for this guy over her, because if all this is just more of the same, there you go. So yeah, she got, and by the way, not just do the Democrats have problems with men, they've got, or certain groups of men, shall we say, they've also got problems explaining certain behaviors by their own men. I've known about this story, and I just haven't had a chance to really get into it. But you guys no doubt have seen the headlines as it relates to Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, about the story about him having slapped his ex-girlfriend so hard he spun her around some years back before he married Kamala. Well, it's not just that story. You've got this one too, where he's at his law firm out in L.A. Apparently he was inappropriate and misogynistic. And I mean, I'll drop both of these in chat for you guys. But I mean, oh God, the party of, believe all women, the party of, we're standing for women. And this is how, the husband of the Democrat nominee is behaving, or has alleged to behave. So, take a look at these at your leisure. So, Doug gets asked about this, which, by the way, I think I've come up with a nickname for old Doug Emhoff. I think I'm going to start calling him Slap Daddy. So Slap Daddy is interviewed by Joe Scarborough. Now, there's a pair of guys to put together in an interview, given Joe Scarborough's past, if you know what I mean. So Slap Daddy gets interviewed by Joe Scarborough, and how does our friend Doug Emhoff explain these allegations about his past behavior? How does he reconcile his past behavior to present life? Well, folks, you got to give him credit. Democrats do know how to, shall we say, work their way through their problems. With that, check this out.
In spreading it about you, saying that tabloid stories about your personal life, saying it should be front and center. He's saying it about your wife and making incredibly crude and lewd suggestions about her past life. I'm just curious. I know I seem like a very zen, mindful person, but I think I'd be pissed off. And I'm just wondering, how do you all stay centered? How do you stay disciplined and not really go off and not really push back hard at these things?
We don't have time to be pissed off. We don't have time to focus on it. It's all a distraction.
it's designed to try to get us off our game. Does it get you?
A distraction. This man allegedly slapped a woman so hard he spun her around and was a misogynist at work and made inappropriate comments. But yet I saw an interview the other day talking about this Doug Emhoff story. You call it an interview, I call it a conversation between Chris Cuomo of News Nation, Bill O'Reilly, and Stephen A. Smith. And Chris Cuomo made an observation, and I can't disagree with him. If that were a story about Donald Trump, if Donald Trump were accused, or even one of Donald Trump's sons, let's say Don Jr. or Eric, if any of those three, or JD, or even throw JD Vance into that mix, if any of those four men had been accused of what Doug Emhoff is accused of, the press would be wearing it out. As it stands right now, almost nobody outside conservative social media knows about this story related to Doug Emhoff and the slapping incident. TBA says, I heard that Doug Emhoff beat that girl until she miscarried. Now, I have not heard that. I have not heard that at all. But the story in the UK Daily Mail, they stand by it. The reporter who worked on that story said he talked to 3 different sources. Although they were not eyewitnesses, they could corroborate what they were told. They were able to back up the allegation. They felt strong enough. They felt they had it. They ran with it. Lana, you're absolutely right, honey. It'd be wall-to-wall coverage. The press would go 24/7 on a story about Trump's sons, JD Vance, and they would absolutely just go wild with it. Absolutely wild. Sean over on Rumble says, you guys need to have a little more respect for Dougie. It's not easy being peak masculinity nowadays, so let's cut him some slack. Everyone should be just in awe of his masculine qualities. I know you're being sarcastic, Sean, but oh my God. If that's peak masculinity, it is a sorry state that the male sex has devolved down to, that Doug Emhoff is peak masculinity. Oh, jeez. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay. And yet Kamala married this guy. Oish. Yeah. Just it's amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. Now, speaking of peak masculinity, and maybe it's better to say the view that Democrats and women of the left have of men in general. Have you guys seen the Men for Harris campaign? Oh my God. I'm just going to let this speak for itself. This is an ad that got put together on behalf of Kamala. I think it was one of Jimmy Kimmel's producers that worked on this for her. Okay. Guys, I hate to drop something cringy on you guys on a Saturday, but oh yeah, this thing's bad. If y'all have not seen this, I warn you now, get ready. Here it comes.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man. And I'm man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast. I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want. Woman wants to be president? Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement. Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story. That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
You know, I don't know if it's possible to contract that disease, but Gypsy, you may be onto something, dear. You really may be onto something. Seabass, I have no idea. Oh my God. Yeah. 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 Toxic masculinity. God. Sean over on Rumble says, they can't even tell me what a woman is, so they're going to tell me what a man is or should be. That's a great point, brother. That is a great point. No, I have not seen that. I have not seen. Oh, it's worse? Holy shit balls. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Oh, well, by the way, there is some good news. We do have, for those of you that are worried about the, shall we say, overall tone of that one, Robert Lowry has a cure for all of us who just watched that Men for Kamala. So give me a second here, and I will get this pulled up for you guys. Because man, we need some kind of how does one get over this this ad or try to explain it? Well, Robert thinks he's got a pretty good idea of what we can do to be cured of that. So here you go.
Do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free? Yes, sir. Turn around and tell those people. Tell them. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man.
Well, apparently, they're onto something there. Thank you, Robert, for that one. Do appreciate it. Why do I get lumberjack vibes off of that? Oh, goodness. Goodness me. Ugh. Wow. That Men for Harris ad, TBA says, my stomach is empty, nothing more to puke up, so bring it on. Well, okay. There you go. Yeah, they just look. I am not the fount of wisdom or the be all or end all arbiter of what men should be or per se, but call me crazy, but I was raised with certain values. It's like, okay, if you're a man, you get up every day. If possible, you go to work. When I say if possible, I mean assuming that there's nothing that prevents you from being able to do so by medical condition. You get up, you go to work. You support yourself. You have enough self-respect for yourself that you look appropriate in public. You don't walk around with the belt of your pants hanging halfway down your rear end. You keep a neat, decent appearance. You be respectful to women, and what that means is you treat them with kindness. That doesn't mean treat them with subservience. You treat them with kindness. protect whenever possible. Doesn't mean you can't cry in front of a woman. It doesn't mean but it does mean there are certain ways you act. And I'm sorry, me and the Democrat Party do not agree whatsoever. It is not toxic masculinity to try to be a provider and a protector for your home. You know. And for example, Sean, I'm a stay-at-home dad with 4 young autistic sons. I work with a-holes. But brother, you are providing for your family. Okay? And ain't no one gonna fault you for that. Okay? Not in the slightest. I mean, the Democrat view of masculinity versus what it really ought to be are miles apart with each other. Yeah, and what the Democrats call toxic masculinity is what built this country. I mean, you know, I would love I would love to watch an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez go back to the 18th century, and when Lewis and Clark were exploring the American territories with Sacagawea. I'd love for her to be on the dock and go, "Now you can't take her out. No, you cannot do that. You are just." I'd love to hear to be like, "Woman, be quiet. Be quiet." Oy vey. All right. It is, what time is it? Good grief. Yeah, Sean, you ought to see this, brother. You ought to see, yeah. Much love from the YouTube community for you, my friend. And like I said, this cat's coming on my channel Tuesday night. We're going to have a conversation. So be on the lookout for that thumbnail and advertisement over this weekend. Yeah, he's coming on Tuesday. Tracy's coming on Wednesday from Gen X Marks the Spot. Chris from Morning Mayhem's coming on. Man, I got guests lined up out the ears. Kind of crazy. Anywho, it is 12:35 Eastern. We have hit that portion of the show called HodgePodge Stew. So we're going to do a real quick commercial. TBA says, I got yard chores to do, so I'm hitting. TBA, go do what you got to do, brother. We're glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah, glad you're here and glad you're everything you do for all the laughs you bring. So there you go. So yeah, my name is Brian Trippin on the Front Porch Concerted. This is Front Porch Brunch. Glad you guys are here with us. We're about to roll into that section of the show called HodgePodge Stew. A few little news items to take a look at. And like your all's commentary on it. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, hit the bell for notifications. Let's get you become part of Fedora Nation. All right. HodgePodge. HodgePodge Stew are those stories that are not quite above the internet fold, so to speak, but they are things going on out there, and they are worthy of commentary. Now, the first one is related to you folks out there in California. Bless your hearts, I got bad news for you. Come November 1st, yeah, that's right. It looks like you guys are wearing masks again. And here is the local KTVU reporter. Let's see what he's got to say about this story. Check it out.
States are coming back to several Bay Area counties. Health officials have issued orders requiring face masks to be worn in hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, and other healthcare facilities. This order goes into effect starting November 1 until either the end of March or April 2025. Now, the counties requiring masks right now are Alameda, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Napa County.
Yeah. Okay, not necessarily everywhere in California, but you know Gavin, if give him an inch, he'll take a mile. So, just saying, for you folks out there in California, you have my sympathies. Did you guys happen to hear about Joe Biden's your opinion of the hurricane response efforts? He's not happy about it. As a matter of fact, he's so unhappy, he has a message for all you critics out there who don't like the way he and the federal government are responding to things. And it's a little bit harsh. So with that, here's Joe Biden's response to you.
I think those who have been spreading these lies to try to undermine the opposition are going to pay a price for it.
You know, every so often, I need to be reminded of why Joe Biden is a first-class a-hole, and it's comments just like that are the ones that I need. Yeah, he's basically threatening everybody that, you'll pay a price for criticizing our government. Sean says, "Oh, F Joe Biden. I'm still waiting for his severe winter of illness and death for the unvaccinated so until that comes, he can just suck a, oh my word, sir." All right, well, he can suck that thing. He can hock Tua that thing. My goodness. Telling the president of the United States that he can hock Tua. My goodness. Mercy me. I've never heard that one before. That's great. He can stack marbles on a freeway. Now that I'd like to see. That I would like to see. Oh my goodness. Now, this next one, redress of grievance. Yeah. Redress of grievance. This next one, I guess, is for you all in Michigan and Minnesota, and not just Michigan, Minnesota, but also, I suppose, New Jersey and New York. Have you guys seen the latest poll that came out from let me find it here real fast. Yeah, the Council of American Islamic Relations. This is it's specific to the state of Michigan, but if this is any indication of what's coming, Kamala's got a big problem on her hands. Gypsy, this one is for you, dear. According to a survey done by the Council on American Islamic Relations in Michigan, Jill Stein is pulling 40% of the Muslim vote. Donald Trump's getting 18 and Kamala is getting 12. Now, I am not surprised by this result. Well, I am and I'm not. Let me explain what I'm getting at. I'm not surprised in the respect that Jill Stein's doing well. I didn't think she'd be doing this well. That's the surprise. Okay? The fact that Kamala is coming in dead third with the Muslim vote in Michigan, that's a little surprising too. But if these numbers are correct, and and Gypsy, you can speak to this better than anybody, there's a very large Muslim population in the state of Michigan. If these numbers are even close to being true, in certain parts of Michigan, she's cooked. She is absolutely cooked. I mean, this is brutal. Absolutely brutal. So, for you Michiganders, I thought you guys might appreciate this. And like I said, I've got a feeling this isn't going to be confined to Michigan. This is going to wind up being the case in Minnesota, New Jersey, New York. Now, again, whether that winds up flipping certain states that normally vote Democrat, who knows? But in Michigan, this is a big problem. Big problem. All right, what else do we have in the way of HodgePodge? Oh, yeah. I've been making some comments recently about the Commonwealth of Virginia. And they have been doing now, regardless of how the election turns out. In this year in Virginia, I give Virginia credit. They have been doing a lot to try to make sure there is a fair election. Okay, now like I said, I may not like how the result of a vote goes somewhere, but if it's a fair election, there's no fraud, there's no cheating. I may not like the result, but okay, I can accept it. All right. So Virginia's been doing a lot of work in that regard, trying to make sure they have a fair and honest election. They've been cleaning up their voter rolls. They've been, what have you. Okay. Sean asks, why is Virginia a Commonwealth? that was more or less the form of government that they had when they first came into being as a colony back in the 1600s. Even though technically speaking they are a state, much like Pennsylvania and Virginia, they are, and even Kentucky, they are states in the United States, but they are also formally referred to as a commonwealth, which again goes back to the form of government that they had when they were initially founded as a colony more than anything else. So they sort of share a dual title, interestingly enough. But anyway, Virginia has been doing a lot to try to ensure that this year's election is very fair. And one of the things that they did is they removed X number of people off the voter rolls who are non-citizens. Now, you would think that this move, by the way, would be such that it would be celebrated, for trying to make sure that only American citizens and residents of the Commonwealth of Virginia are people who are voting, right? Well, I got a story here that might give you an idea of just how nervous the Democrats are about Virginia, and you wouldn't think they would be, but they seem to be very nervous. I got a story here, and it's been reported in different places. Biden-Harris Department of Justice sues Virginia over removing non-citizens from voter rolls. Story by Christina Layla. We've got the following. The Justice Department on Friday announced it is suing the state of Virginia for removing non-citizens from the voter rolls. Quote, the Justice Department announced today it has filed a lawsuit against the state of Virginia, the Virginia Board of Elections, and the Virginia Commissioner on Elections to challenge a systematic state program aimed at removing voters from its election rolls too close to the November 5th general election in violation of the National Voter Registration Act 93. Section 8C2 of the NVRA, known as the Quiet Period Provision, requires states to complete systematic programs aimed at removing names of ineligible voters from the ballot no later than 90 days before the election. The quiet period applies to certain systemic programs carried out by states that are aimed at striking names from the voter registration list based on perceived failure to meet eligibility requirements. The lawsuit comes 2 months after Governor Glenn Youngkin issued an executive order that codifies election security procedures to protect the 2024 election against fraud. Governor Youngkin policies include use 100% paper ballots with a strict chain of custody. Excuse me 1 second, folks. Using counting machines, not voting machines, that are tested prior to every election. Do not mass mail ballots. Monitor your drop boxes 24/7. Verify the legal presence and identity of voters using DMV data and other trusted data sources to update the voter rolls daily. Governor Youngkin responds to the lawsuit. With less than 30 days until the election, the Biden-Harris Justice Department is filing an unprecedented lawsuit against me and the Commonwealth of Virginia for appropriately enforcing a 2006 law signed by Democrat Tim Kaine that requires Virginia to remove non-citizens from its voter rolls, a process that starts with someone declaring themselves a non-citizen and then registering to vote. Virginians and Americans will see this for exactly what it is, a desperate attempt to attack the legitimacy of the elections in the Commonwealth, the very crucible of the American democracy. With the support of our Attorney General, we will defend these common sense steps and we are legally required to take with every resource available to us. Virginia's election will be secure and fair, and I will not stand idly by as this politically motivated action tries to interfere with our elections, period. Good for you, Glenn Youngkin. Good for you. TBA says, does ineligible equal illegal? Good question. Good question, my friend. So yeah, Justice Department is suing the Commonwealth of Virginia simply for trying to make sure that non-citizens cannot vote in their election. So there you go. All right, I got one last thing for HodgePodge, and this one's more or less kind of fun. And it'll be the last item that we've got. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today. And The Dilly Meme Team. Now, the Dilly Meme Team has come up with some of the funniest stuff this year. And I tell you what, this last one, and this will the reason I save this in part for the last, I have a feeling that I'll probably get a copyright strike for this one, but you know what? It's worth it. I don't care. The Dilly Meme Team has come up with something about this year's election, and it's based on a legendary piece of music. So I tell you what, I won't delay it any longer. I hope you guys really enjoy this. Here is the latest efforts from the boys at the Dilly Meme Team.
Rallies Up magazine, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, guard your chin. I won't ever slack up, commies better back up. Try to cheat again and you'll the whole country act up. Get up, stand up, come on, throw your hands up. If you got the feeling, jump up towards the ceiling. MAGA, let the love flow, Democrats screw up. Yo, we know it's do or die, we taking it all back. So, feeling, funkin', amp central force when we got more fun. Bust it out, retribution, Dilly's team. The memes can get meme, hitting lids coast to coast. Get on my one machine. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. Trump up, White House bound. Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 Trump. I'll serve your ass like tiny meatball. If you step out of line, you're taking a fall. Word to your moms, ballparks and farms. I got more rallies than Bible got songs. And just like the prodigal son, I return. Anyone stepping in me, you'll get burned. Cause I got voters and you ain't got none. If you want a battle, come and get some. But if you do, you're a fool, cause DT is the best. After we take DC, then you can protest. I got the skill, come get your fill. Cause when it's said and done, I'm standing still. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around. Jump around. Jump around. Jump around. Trump up, White House bound. Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 everybody Trump, 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 Trump.
I thought you Seabass, I leave for 5 minutes and this sorry about that, Seabass. I was like yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I'm sorry, dear. I'm sorry. Okay. I respect. Yeah, I found that one. I was like, that's just too good. I gotta play that one. That's just way too good. Stop. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway. All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We'll let you guys have the rest of your afternoon off. I want to thank you guys again for being here for Front Porch Brunch. As always, it's a load of fun hanging out with you guys, and I hope that I've been able to help you smile, provide you with some information, that sort of thing. As you're going out the door, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. Also, hit a thumbs up, leave a comment in the chat. Genuinely appreciate it. We'll be back Monday night, 7:30, for the Columbus Day session of this thing we do. So until then, you guys have a very great weekend. I love each and every one of you. And remember, as we depart, the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." I love you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday night.